What's up, everybody? It's your favorite piece of art's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the second figure I've gotten from my boy Shaun. Shaun's Body Shop. I'll have a link to his Facebook page in the description. He did the Flame Toys Prime for me not too long ago. I'm not sure if you remember. He has now done a Megatron for me, and this thing is magnificent. I did the first impressions of this on Patreon with Joe and Chris just because I wanted other people to be in the room to like witness it. He's outdone himself. I think it's even better than the Prime. We'll talk about the model itself, of course, but we're going to talk about this paint job, and we're going to talk about how great this thing looks. Probably too much. It's nuts! Anyway, that being said, let's start with accessories. He comes with 2 extra hands that are posing hands in addition to the 2 fist hands that you saw in the opening footage. They are nice. They are 100% painted with this kind of metallic flecked black paint. Tremendous work. So let's get into it. Ooh. It is amazing. I mean, the work. I can't speak on the model kit yet. I haven't really gone through it because I haven't want to put too much wear and tear on this guy because God forbid I do anything that damages this perfect paint job. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's perfect. All right. So the head, so to speak, we have this like metallic flecked gray that he chose. Now he actually hit me up and he was like, man, do you think he should be silver or gray? And I was like, honestly, I kind of view him in the cartoon as being silver, but in the comic I kind of view him as being gray, and he actually felt the same way. So I guess he found sort of a happy medium in going with this sort of highly metallic flecked gray, but it's perfect. It was the perfect choice, there's no doubt about it. Metallic eyes, and then metallic red eyes rather, and then all of the line paneling around the cheeks, on the helmet, the black parts inside of the bits. It's all beautiful. Double ball peg, it feels like, for the head. You can get it up to there, down to there. Swivel attitude, which is important for this character in this book. So fantastic. Painted this like metallic gray, like a darker gray, the same gray we've already spoken about, the metallic red, and then some metallic silver parts, and then we have the kind of chest hairs that are done. It's beautiful. We have what feels like, I can't tell, it might be a single, just a long stem, or it could be a double, I'm not sure. Ball peg in the abdomen going into the chest. Using that, well, let's talk about the waist. So it feels like another single in the waist. Using both, you don't get much out of it, to be fair. Going back, you get a little bit more. You get a teapot, you get an upper teapot, you get a swivel and a swivel. And we went back and forth as to which emblem to use on his chest. And I ultimately made the decision to go Autobot. I think it is kind of the defining thing about him in those books. If you don't understand the books, or if you haven't read the books and you think him being an Autobot is stupid, I can tell you that my initial reaction was the exact same. However, after reading it, it made exact sense. So don't be like me. Don't be like me and judge it before you read it. Read it and then judge it for yourself. It was one of my biggest missteps, was sort of my initial gut reaction to seeing that on him. My first one is probably I got upset that Heath Ledger was playing the Joker. I just didn't see that either. And, I live to regret that as well. So, all right, moving down, we had the metallic red, and then we had the gunmetal kind of silver for the flank here, and then the proper silver there. I want to get into these joints. I've kind of been waiting to get into them. So look at the work done there. I'm going to zoom in on it. What he's done here, in my opinion, is he's given this thing a very believable look, in the sense that it looks like a machine. Like, it looks like it operates as a machine. So all of this is painted the silver, then there's the darker gunmetal, and then there's the gold around it. That working kind of hand in hand with the sculpt, it's so believable to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm nuts. Same gray here, line paneling work, the gunmetal silver on the tracks here that are beautiful, and this actually drove him nuts trying to pick the right color for these, but I think he made the right choice. And then the lighter color there, fantastic. The shoulder pads do move, which allows the shoulder joint inside, which is a universal, to get just shy of 90 degrees, it seems. And maybe I can even do a little bit more, but I mean, just shy. So then they can come down. You get the 360 movement around, so no issue there. We have a bicep swivel. And then we have the metallic red with the silver painted on. Once again, a nice touch. Look at this. Look at that joint. It's so well painted. When I got it out of the box, I thought it was die cast. Like, I thought the model kit included die cast joints. I believed it. He tricked me. And then we have a double jointed elbow. The second joint is further up into the forearm, and it hides it beautifully. Super well engineered. And then the red metallic paint there. The wrist, so these hands swap out. So this is basically acting as a ball peg, this bit there, and then the peg allows for the swivel. So no issues there. Same for the other side, but we got to talk about the fusion cannon, which has the metallic fleck black. It has some gunmetal silver. It has the red, orange, and yellow metallic accents, the silver metallic accents, the purple painted inside of the barrel, the purple painted accents on the outside of the barrel. No stone left unturned. For the hips, I don't know if these pieces move. Yes, they do. So they'll swivel out to the side, and then you can use the universals that once again are painted and look real. And when I say real, I mean like a real proper like machine joint, and they almost look like they're die cast. For a pretty good range, more than you would ever need in my opinion. And does this move at all? No, it doesn't feel like it. Forward and back, perhaps a little bit more limited, but I don't think you'll have any issues. Thigh swivel built around the base of the universal. No issues there. And then we have the metallic fleck there, the red, all the silver paint. Look at that knee. Once again, it's painted to a point where it fools you. It looks like it's a metal joint. Beautifully done. Double jointed knees. Once again, they hide the second joint deep inside of the lower calf for a very flawless look. And then look how this piece kind of wraps around that one. Extremely well done and a good range. We have the silver, we have the metallic, we have the gray down here, the silver accents, no stone left unturned, as what we kind of, in my opinion, we've come to expect in looking at this figure to this point. Ankle tilt down. Let's see. Ankle tilt up. Toe hinge up, basically. Toe hinge down. Then you get a rocker both at the base of the foot and then an additional one at the toe, which should cover down on any sort of believability issues. Same for the other side, and he even painted the bottom of the feet to look different. So let's look at the back real quick. I love this little design accents and stuff. It's just, dude, I've like he's outdone himself. I don't know how else to say it. It looks like this dude walked right off of the page. Now, he can't take full responsibility for that. Only most of it, in my opinion. But this thing is also sculpted, and the proportions are better, in my opinion. They're not that I don't. Let's do a size comparison. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, so not that I don't love this, right? The proportions and the sculpt, I do, but it has a very sort of like almost Gundam proportion about it, which works. I like Gundam proportions as well, but it doesn't feel like the Prime from the books to me. Whereas this Megatron, the proportions are much more in line with Milne's work, and it looks like it just, I mean, it literally looks like the cover where he's standing, like, you know what I mean? It's spot on. Whereas this, I feel like they took a few liberties with the proportions to kind of fit their sensibilities, which I also like, but I do appreciate the accuracy here. And then when you have them side by side, I think it even becomes more apparent. But let me get the camera down a little lower. You see what I mean? Like just in terms of where the waist starts, you know, like then where the top of the leg starts. Like it's all a bit different here. And it works, but I'm not sure it's my preference having known this was an option, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, I don't think they look bad next to each other. You know, I think they still kind of work. Final thoughts wise, let's start with the negatives. There are a few spoilers. They have nothing to do with the paint. I do wish there was a greater range of motion in the head and in the torso. I found when posing him for pictures and stuff that if I could just get a little bit more of a range, I'd have better luck at getting a more dynamic pose out of him. I also feel like maybe, and I'd have to go back and look at the books, but maybe the kneecaps come out at an angle a bit too extreme, but I could be wrong about that. It could just be my mind's eye kind of thing. Memory's a tricky beast. And I think if they would have included a swap out piece for the chest so that you could do Decepticon or Autobot instead of having to fully commit to one or the other, that might have been a nice touch as well. However, I also respect the gangster of saying, nope, you make a decision. Because if you read the books, you know how challenging that decision is. Or if you read the books rather when they were good. But plenty more positives though. Articulation is great for the most part minus the two things I mentioned, and I forgot to mention that it does have a ball joint at the chest-shoulder connection. I was too spellbound by the mechanics of the sculpt and paint. That does give a butterfly forward and back. The sculpt is picture perfect, amazing, spectacular. I don't know how else to say it. Flame Toys knows how to sculpt a figure, and I'll tell you what, it looks like it just walked off the page. And I know I say that a lot, but usually when I say that I'm talking about accuracy, this has some of that character. I don't know how to define it. I don't know how you bottle it up and inject it into something. Like, it just has it. It's like when they say like you know, he has it, you know, but you don't know how to define what it is. It's just it. It has it. I'm not a big model kit guy. I got a few Bandai Star Wars stuff, and then I got these two from Flames Toys and a couple random Gundams. It's not really my bag. I don't really enjoy it. There's an element to the building of it that I do enjoy. It's a little therapeutic, I will admit that. But overall, it's not my thing. That being said, this is one of the better ones that I have dealt with. And I've only looked at Bandai ones, and now these two Flames Toys ones. So yeah, it's a strong recommend from me, especially if you're gonna have Shaun paint it. Speaking of which, the link to his page, once again, will be at the top of the description. I actually had to send him a gift because as soon as I saw pictures of this thing, I was like, oh my God, like, you've outdone yourself. So I sent him something as well. A nice little trade, community stuff, you know what I mean? But an absolutely spectacular effort on his part. The dude is an artist, and he's a master of his craft. It's the only way to say it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.